Okay guys, we're back here on Fusion 360 for another tutorial on how to use the program. Like I said the other day, hopefully you guys can pull out some of the tools and features that I'm using to create these drawings so that when we do get back to school, you guys can jump right into this and start designing some different things here. So once again, we're going to be using the Titans of CNC curriculum. So essentially, we can use the drawings that they have on their website, and they also have tutorial videos too if you're, interested in checking them out. Tutorial videos on how to draw in Fusion 360 and then how to program a CNC machine to be able to machine or make these different parts. These parts really don't have much of an application, but they do teach you a lot of really great CAD modeling and CNC machining techniques. Okay, so here is the Titans of CNC 2M. We did the 1M the other day, so this is what we're going to be working on today is the 2M. So again, we're going to break it down into these three simple drawings. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a rectangle that is 1.95 inches by 5 inches in length. So if I go ahead and click Create Sketch while I'm in Fusion 360, I'm going to use the rectangle tool, or I can hit R on my keyboard. And we're going to make it 1.95 using the tab key to get over by 5 inches. Okay, I can go ahead and click Finish Sketch. I click Extrude, or I could hit E on my keyboard. And we're going to make it 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch tall. The next thing that you'll notice is that the corners are at an angle, right? They're not perfect square corners. There's a couple ways that I could go ahead and do this. Really simple. If I use the Modify tab and go to Chamfer, okay, use the Chamfer tool. And if I select all of these edges, these four edges, and I make it 0.25 or 1/4 inch, I chamfer those edges. There's also a radius, or kind of a rounded edge to them. If you look, it says that it's a 0.125 or 1/8 of an inch radius. Well, I can do that using the Fillet tool. So I'll go ahead and I'll select all of these little lines going on here. We're going to take a look at this thing from a couple different angles here so we can get to all of our lines. Again, forgive the background noise. It is just a 3D printer that I have sitting at my desk here at my house. 0.125. And there's our first part of this drawing. So if we take a look at the PDF, right? So we've got to the correct size, to the correct dimensions with those rounded corners. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to once again put some threaded holes into the top. These are 1/4-20 threaded holes. So they are a 1/4 inch in diameter with 20 threads per inch. So each rotation, each spiral that you see inside of there, each one of those threads, there's 20 of them if there was 1 inch of threads. Okay, so we're going to put those in there next. So we'll create a sketch on the top. We're going to use the point tool once again. And again, like I said, a lot of this stuff is going to be repetitive. We're going to be using the same tools pretty much over and over again. And then just, with a little bit different application and different shapes. So I'm going to use the Dimension tool to get my first point placed exactly where it needs to be. If I refer to my drawing, that first hole needs to be 2.125 from that edge. So 2.125. This one is going to be 2 inches from that left side. So from here to here is going to be 2 inches. This one is also 2.125. This top hole needs to be 0.35 from this top side, that top edge. So I'm clicking on the point and then clicking on the line that I want to dimension from. This one should be right in the middle, but we'll dimension it 0.975 just to double check. and it is exactly 0.975 already. And the last one is going to be 1.6 from this top edge. It is already 1.6. Okay, so we have 3 of them in there, but there are 6 holes. Well, what we can do is we can save ourselves a little bit of work. And if I draw a line straight up from this middle, you can see that triangle form there. That's the middle of this line. If I draw a line straight up at 90 degrees, and I use the mirror tool, so this is a new tool you guys haven't seen. I'll use the mirror tool to mirror those points over that line, and they are then equally spaced from that line. I can go ahead and finish my sketch. I'm going to use the hole tool once again, and I'm going to select all of our points here. And we're going to change this from a 1032 to a quarter 20. So there it is right there, quarter 20. We're going to put a countersink on this as well, which is just, if you remember from the whale project, countersink just has a small area where the head of a screw could sit nice and flat. If we take a look at our PDF, that says that it's a 0.275 diameter on that 75. Oh, the length. Let's check the length here. The depth of the hole is 0.375. Or 3/8. And there we go. We click OK. And we've got our 6 holes in there. The last thing that we're going to end up doing here is putting these square cutouts, right? These rectangular cutouts in here. There's a couple ways that we could achieve this. What I really like to do is if I start a sketch on the top, what I really like to use is the center rectangle. So there's 3 different rectangles that we can draw here, but I like to use the center rectangle in this case. I can hover over the midpoint of that line, bring my cursor over, click, and then I can dimension this rectangle all the way that we want it. So it's got to be 1.5 from that edge, that left side. So I hit D. From here to here is going to be 1.5. From here to here, it's going to be 0.5. And that is exactly where we want it to be. Again, I can use the mirror tool to get it the exact same thing on the other side. Select my mirror line, and there we go. Click Finish Sketch, extrude. I like to select the whole rectangle just in case, and we want this to go down 0.4 inches. You can see that it goes down 0.4 inches. So I'm going to type in negative 0.4, and that's going to cut that rectangular shape out of there. The last thing that we'll go ahead and do is we're going to add some radiuses to these corners, these inside corners, some fillets. Those are a dimension of 0.02 inches. Okay. There we go. And then what I'll go ahead and do, the last thing, is I'm going to add a chamfer, a nice angled edge. It just breaks that sharp corner of 0.010 of an inch. The last thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and click Save, name it Titan 2M, and I'll click Save. And there we go. There's the Titans of CNC 2M. So when we come back to Fusion 360 next week, I'm going to show you guys a few more tools, some different menus that we can get into up here, and we'll continue on with our Fusion 360 tutorials. We'll catch you later, guys.